What up, Internet? Kurt here, geeking out on the return of boy bands. Everyone's flipping out this year on why they're back, but I think the answer's simple. It's time. Now sure, the Biebs may be responsible for ushering in this current era, but it was bound to happen because there's a boy band craze about every 10 years. It started in the 60s with the Beatles, then it was the 70s with the Jackson 5 and the Osmonds, then the 80s with the New Edition, and then of course New Kids on the Block, and then NSYNC and Backstreet Boys in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now this time around, it's One Direction and The Wanted. These are the main two that everybody's flipping out about. If I had to pick one over the other, I think I'd have to go with One Direction just because that one single. That was good, it's catchy. Now look, I'm just as annoyed by the haircuts and the outfits as the next guy, but you cannot deny that that's a catchy tune. I remember the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC stuff, and I didn't like any of those songs as much as I do that one. Well, they're alright. I do like Pop. That's a good one. Dirty Pop. Dirty Pop. But yeah, the rest of them, no thanks. Which brings me to my next point. Pop was from Celebrity, NSYNC's third album. That was the beginning of the end for him. That was the album where the group wanted to get involved in the production and writing the songs. Then of course after that it was solo time. Time for Justified and Crazy Sexy Cool Sounds. Or Sex Back Sounds, or Sex Sounds? Was it really called Sex Sounds? And that's probably the trajectory that all these boy banders today are wanting to achieve, the JT status. They're all having a great time now, but they're just like, when is my Justified? But it's not gonna happen, because nobody's JT but JT. Actually, speaking of JT, does that guy live the life or what? He's in a successful boy band, then a successful solo career, then he's like, oh, I think I'm gonna do some movies now. Some of them more Oscar-worthy than others.
Someone ordered a special Quebec pizza, eh?
Oh, and he's awesome at SNL. Other former boy banders aren't doing too bad either. JC's a judge.
Some great dancers here.
Joey Fatone is the announcer on Family Feud.
It's time to play Family Feud!
Which I think is the coolest fact. Oh, and speaking of competition shows, that's how One Direction was discovered, like the UK X Factor. That's crazy how many legitimate stars come out of these competition shows, and it's like they don't even win first place. But hey, better they were discovered in the X Factor than by this dude, the guy who discovered NSYNC. So yeah, an NSYNC reunion is out of the question. That's not gonna stop the other ones, like Backstreet Boys are back at it, with New Kids on the Block, actually, with the greatest initial band ever, NKOTBSB, and that B does double duty for Block and Backstreet. Actually, just Back. Isn't Backstreet one word? So wouldn't that be BB instead of BSB? I don't know. They're back at it and they tour and they're doing okay. So yeah, I'd say that One Direction and The Wanted have a few more years before they're gonna go away so that we can get a break before the next boy band craze in 2020. But if they want to have any staying power at all, I'd suggest they work on their sketch skills. Alright, that's gonna do it. Go to GeekingOutOn.com for more episodes.
You know how Joey Fatone was the fat one in NSYNC? And then somebody actually realized that his last name literally spells fat one?